I'm not sure, but I don't think this machine will take weight off me. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. Dr. Yoni Freedhoff is here. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm just going to take this off right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's built quite for you.
No, God, no. Listen, you brought along all kinds of contraptions, and you collect these sort of things, right?
Yeah, I've been buying these off of eBay since I started getting interested in obesity about a decade ago.
Yeah.
And you can pick this stuff up all over the place, and these are some of sort of my prized possessions from my collection. I thought I'd bring them by and talk about them with all of you folks.
Right.
And so what we'll do is we'll go through this whole table, but what I want people to think about in the backs of their mind is whether or not these things still exist today in some shape or form. Okay. We look at this and we laugh a little bit about how, oh, this is just silliness. But in fact, there's still quite a lot of silliness out there when it comes to weight management.
Yeah.
So we'll start with some pills and lotions and ointments. This first one's from 1906. The bottle actually is still full if you wanted to try some. It was made with 23.5% alcohol, so it might have tasted all right. And they used something called Phylloca decandra, which is poke root. And what poke root does is it causes emesis. It causes people to throw up. And so I think that it's possible that the mechanism of action of that one was just, in fact, making yourself sick.
My God.
So bulimia in a bottle.
Maybe. I mean, we do still have stuff like that now today.
Bulimia in a bottle is right.
I think at the end of the day, throwing up is not a good way to lose weight. Celebrity endorsements, something that we certainly have quite a lot of still today. And so this was Zsa Zsa Gabor, and in fact on the other side is Joan Caulfield. But what Zsa Zsa was promoting were these pills here, and actually I've had a lot of patients who tell me that they remember these sitting on their mother or father's night tables. And what this one says was, according to Zsa Zsa Gabor, if you're overweight, AIDS can do wonderful things for your figure.
Yeah,
and
it's called AIDS.
Yeah, I don't think that the name would fly well today, but basically what this was candy. And so instead of a meal, you ate a candy. The first ingredient actually is corn syrup. And so it probably would work in place of actual meals. This one did work. These were prescription tablets, which don't exist anymore.
Right.
They were vitamin-fortified amphetamines.
Wow.
And as you might imagine, vitamin-fortified amphetamines do work for weight management.
Do they?
But, of course, there are a host of other problems that come with the use of amphetamines on a regular basis. And so we stopped prescribing these quite a while ago.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it seems like we've had a really difficult time as physicians to try to get these sort of prescription drugs working. Every time we find something that does work, it seems to cause side effects and problems, like amphetamines, that then lead to the drug's discontinuation. In Canada, there's actually only one drug still on the market that's indicated for weight loss. Now, certainly people have home DVDs for exercise.
Yeah.
Back in 1920, they didn't have home DVDs. And Miss Esther Horn from Lebanon, Pennsylvania, ordered this. This was A Woman's Birthright. It was by Wallace. And what Wallace said was that if you follow his instructions, quote, your body will assume normal proportions just so surely as water seeks its own level, which is a very, very powerful statement for Wallace here. And indeed, there's 8 different records. These were 78s. They still play. We've played them once before, where you were to dance off of your weight. And then we get to more mechanical devices.
What's this?
So this guy is a rolling pin from Rio de Janeiro from 1900. And what it was supposed to do was pretty straightforward. You rolled it on your body parts, and the suction cups would actually suck off your fat. And there's been variations of this.
There's one with the bigger suction cups on that.
We could look. There are different versions over the years. The Hoover Vacuum Company actually made a version.
Oh, my
So
Lord.
this Hoover product was quite unique. What the Hoover product said was that if you used this for 20 minutes a day, it was the equivalent of taking a rapid 8-mile walk. But what was really unique was that if you wanted to increase the fat somewhere, and they specifically mentioned the chest area, you simply had to rub it less frequently, and that would cause fat accumulation. So this was a
So if you wanted bigger boobs,
bust enhancer / weight loser, which is really golden.
Now, but this one must have been effective because it has a plug.
It does have a plug, Jeff, and you could have bought that in Saks Fifth Avenue.
Really?
Vogue magazine called this a boon to mankind, and they said it was unquestionably endowed with magic. And this wasn't an editorial, this wasn't an advertorial, this was an actual article.
What was the
this
difference
was the
between...
thermo roller.
Right.
This one heats up.
Oh.
So, of course, that will make a big difference.
Right, you're nice and warm as you roll the fat away.
Now, as far as massagers go, this is probably my favorite. So this one was described as the Knead Away massager. And I'm going to come back to the name Knead Away. It's the scientific way to remove fat. This was sold by Sears Roebuck.
Right.
And it actually says
How old is that?
This is from about 1920.
Okay.
And it relaxes tense nerves. So I'm going to build it, because it's 2 pieces. And then I'll show you what came with it. So
Okay.
Wow.
this is the massager.
It's a bit unfortunate.
It's shaped in a suggestive manner.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is 1920. There weren't erotica stores in 1920.
Right.
So if you actually look
Oh, yes, there
at
were.
the advertising that came with it, there's a woman, a flapper it looks like, who's holding it very suggestively on her leg.
Wow.
And the statement is, what a difference a few inches make. And just in case you don't know what it's for, if you open it up, it's like having a private masseur always at your service,
I guess
and it
it
shows
is.
you how to hold this particular instrument.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, things got a little bit more high-tech as time went by.
Right.
And so we get to some of the more high-tech doodads. There's the obvious I Love Lucy style jiggler,
Yes.
where you'd hook this up to your body.
And it would jiggle you.
It would shake.
Would I stand this way or?
You can
I think you can stand
any way,
any way
right?
you want,
Yeah.
actually.
I'll
I'm
put it
sure
on there
that
for
they
you,
would
Lance.
tell you
Yeah.
that you
There
could.
you
Now,
go.
it's not particularly steady, so I wouldn't lean into it too much. But nowadays, we have places like T-Zone making very similar statements. All you got to do is stand and vibrate, and all of a
Oh,
sudden your
yeah.
weight's going to come off. You know, and we've got pills, we've got oodles of
So the
pills.
ideas haven't really changed.
Not too much has changed. You know, so there is no magic. Now, you got really technical over here. This was called the Relaxicizer.
Oh, I love this thing.
This doesn't look so relaxing to me.
Oh my, this looks like you're looking for state secrets out of someone.
Yeah, it does look a little bit like a truth
Torture device?
analyzer.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But this came with, actually, this is just one pad. This came with dozens of pads for different body parts. But what you were supposed to do was to hook yourself up to this pad, plug yourself into the wall, and then zap yourself with electricity.
Did that flex the muscles?
That would flex the muscles, and then the presumption was that it was like exercising without exercising. In fact,
There's something out there like it now.
there's a lot out there like it now. So there's one that's being promoted by a soap opera star.
Yes.
There's one that's being promoted on the Home Shopping Channel quite regularly. But there are these same belts still being sold today. Now this one, back in the 50s, sold over 200,000 of them.
Wow.
Until it was recalled because there was some concern that it might cause spontaneous miscarriages in women who were using it.
Wow.
Now, my favorite piece, by far,
Yes.
is this small little book. So this small little book was actually written by a physician, Dr. Thomas Lawton. He's from New York City, West
Yeah.
70th Street.
Yeah.
And so this book, I think, really proves that just because you've got an MD after your name doesn't make you necessarily ethical or bright.
Right.
And so I wanted to actually buy one of these, but I couldn't find one.
Right.
So I built one myself. But if you want to take a peek, I went out over the weekend
Right.
and I built myself the Lawton vacuum device. Now, what this guy does, according to Thomas Lawton, is you are to press it firmly into your abdomen.
Right.
You are to rotate it.
Right.
And then that pressure, when you pull it off, will liquefy your fatty tissues. And then your bloodstream will carry them away for disposal. And again, you know, this was likely promoted as a medical device designed by a doctor.
It's a plunger.
It is a toilet plunger.
It's
it is
a
a
what?
toilet plunger that you plunge your fat away with.
That's unbelievable.
But again, I think that the take-home message here is that there really isn't any magic. You know, if there were magic, we'd have it. The world would be a skinny place.
Right.
The fact is that we've got a long way to go before we have any product that will do anything remarkable for weight management. And if a person out there is considering buying any kind of product, and they've been told that it's going to cause them to lose weight, I think they should think a few times about whether or not it might just be too good to be true.
Right, so the old adage, the common sense still prevails from the 1900s to now. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
We're out of time, but Doctor, you have some very interesting insight into weight loss and how it should be approached, and people can find out more just by getting in touch with you at the Bariatric Medical Institute, correct?
Absolutely, and also on my blog, weightymatters.ca. And if you come across anything like this in your grandfather's attic, please knock on my door.
Thanks for coming today.
That's awesome.
Thank you.